Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I saw this whole thing with this interview with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, and Prince Harry's her husband, and apparently they went to go talk to Oprah about the challenges of being part of the royal family, and there were some bombshells dropped during the interview, and I'm gonna go through some of them, and I'm also gonna give you an honest Uncle Boyce, Dr. Boyce perspective on all of this and why a lot of us aren't surprised by any of this. And I'll break some of this down for you on drboycetv.com. Get comfortable. We're going to get started right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is blissful, we can turn it to intelligence. Please, none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are,
Hey, what's going on, guys? Dr. Boyce here, your friendly neighborhood finance professor. And also, I am Uncle Boyce, the OG who tries to just share a little bit of honesty with you, say the things that maybe other people are scared to tell you. And also, I want you to know on this platform, we're Black first. We put the Black community at the top of our priority list, not the bottom. So if you agree with that philosophy, put a hashtag B1 in the chat. Hashtag B1 means that we are Black first. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, you're Black first. Whether you're gay or straight, you're Black first. Whether you're male or female, you're Black first. Very, very important for us to do that so we can build our community. So let's talk about Meghan Markle. Hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button to subscribe to the channel, please do that. This is a great channel for those that want to be intelligent. Stupid people, I don't want you to subscribe, but people who actually want to get smarter, please sign up for the channel. I'd love to have you around. All right, so Meghan Markle, give me a yes or no if you saw this nonsense with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry and this interview they did with Oprah. Give me a yes or no in the chat if you saw that saw what was going on. Somebody said I thought you weren't going to speak on Meghan. I don't know, maybe I lied, who knows. Surprise, damn it. I saw this and I got to jump in on this conversation. Yeah, I don't know if you saw this or not, but it was really interesting. It was really interesting to see Meghan Markle and Harry do this interview with Oprah. It's funny to me, honestly, because it's like the royal family, all their business is kind of being thrown out in the street. I don't know who's right and who's wrong. When it becomes a he said, she said type thing, you don't know who's telling the truth and who's not. I don't really care enough to even care enough to care enough to care enough to even care enough or to act like I care enough, right? Really. And what I mean by that is I just don't give a damn. Are the royals dirty and evil and ruthless? I mean, my God, the Queen of, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but the Queen of England, if I'm not mistaken, is the largest landowner on Earth. Did y'all know that? She's the largest landowner on the planet. And y'all know who she stole that land from? She stole that land from Black people. They went up into parts of Africa and around the world, in India and any place there were brown people, and just slaughtered everybody and took the land. So we should own everything that they have anyway. Right? This whole idea of a royal family, it's stupid. It's a dumb concept. It's really something that's designed for small-minded people who love to fantasize. That's what it is. They don't serve much of a purpose other than symbolism. And you have your royal versions of that in America. The Obamas have become a royal family. They reflect this symbolism. You love to see beautiful pictures of Michelle wearing these amazing gowns and her children, Sasha and Malia, growing up in their big, beautiful house on, I don't know if it's in, what was it? Martha's Vineyard. I think that's where they live now. I mean, you like that, right? You get off on that. Like, that's like a type of porn for some people. Like, they love, getting excited about other people's lives. I kind of feel bad for you, right? I'd like for you to get excited about your life. I'd like for you to get excited about your kids, not just their kids, but hey, whatever. It's entertainment. I mean, you could probably criticize me for the fact that I enjoy watching football, right? I'm not actually on the field. I just enjoy watching it. So maybe I'm just as screwed up as the rest of us. But here's the thing. So Meghan Markle, I remember when she went and married Prince Harry and they had this big lush wedding, and A lot of people got really excited about it. It was, super expensive and very fancy and probably cost, 20, 30, 40, $50 million. I don't know how much they spend on royal weddings, but it's an insane amount of money. And everybody got excited. I saw women like in tears, totally fascinating, like almost getting horny by watching this go down. And I really remember thinking to myself, why should I give a fuck about a lady who went off and married a redheaded white boy whose family got rich by stealing money from black people? Why should I care about any of this? Now, part of it's just because I'm a man, right? I don't think the wedding days do nothing for me, to be honest with you. I'm getting married this year, and I love. I'm excited about getting married because I just love that sexy, beautiful black woman next to me. I love those curves. I love that brain she has. I love, I love everything about her, and I think she's the most beautiful thing in the world, and that's what I look forward to. But this idea of sort of getting super excited about a wedding day, or falsely believing that marrying a redheaded white boy from across the sea is some sort of an upgrade is a little problematic. I share something on my Instagram. My Instagram is the Real Boyce Watkins. So feel free to go to the Real Boyce Watkins. Somebody said stop simping, Boyce. Nah, brother, I'm a simp for that black woman. If you can't find a black woman that you love enough to simp for her in public, then I feel sorry for you, because black women are the mothers of the universe. The black woman's womb is the most important place in the history of this world, because that's where we all come from. Without the black woman's womb, we wouldn't exist. So if you can't find a black woman that you will put in the position of a goddess, then maybe you need to reassess your whole reality. It was stupidity of hip hop that taught you that black women should be treated like bitches and hoes and disrespected at every turn. That's not who you are. So I think that this whole idea that we should disrespect our women is really a mental illness. It's really an embarrassment. It's really some unaddressed issues. Maybe issues with your mama, I don't, or maybe you're just mad because you fell in love one time and she broke your heart, and you're not man enough to overcome that and move forward. I don't know what it is, but this whole idea of um, of feeling like it's simping to tell a black woman how much you love her, it's just that's kind of sick. No community does that. There's no community on this earth anywhere that disrespects their women the way we disrespect our women, particularly in our music. And even the women have come to become used to the disrespect. Asian women don't deal with that type of thing. Now, sure, they got their own issues. But they don't deal with this stuff. Chinese man will fall in love and marry a Chinese woman and give her the respect she deserves. So grow the hell up. Stop that shit. So anyway, so what I'll say with Meghan Markle, here's the deal. So with the Meghan Markle wedding, I found it interesting. The same people who got really excited about the Meghan Markle wedding are the same people who love shows like Scandal, where they somehow feel that Kerry Washington's character was living the good life because she was the president's side chick. Like, you're the president's personal whore. Like, he's not expressing love for you. He's not, exalting you, and taking you out in public. He's literally sleeping with you in the shadows, in the dark, when his wife isn't looking, and then throwing you to the side, like an old piece of trash. And somehow people think that that's exciting. There's something about that. There's something very plantationist about that, where it's sort of like you somehow think that not marrying a black man and is an upgrade, that somehow marrying this white guy who has a little bit of money in his pocket is a better experience than actually being committed to your community and saying, I want to sit next to a black man my whole life. And I see this with men too. I see, you go out to LA. I don't know if anybody is ever been out to LA and noticed this, but when I went out to California, a lot of those brothers do not like black women. A lot of those brothers will like do backflips for Becky, and it's something weird about their repulsion toward black women. I don't understand it. And um and and, and it's interesting. I remember one time there was a club where the black guys that ran the club told the people at the door, like, don't let the black women in because they're ghetto. Don't let them in if they're too dark skinned. I mean, just crazy stuff that just is repulsive. But this is white supremacy, right? Like, this is what white supremacy looks like. This is what racism looks like. This is what self-hate looks like. This is what Jim Crow Willie Lynch looks like. And so when I saw Meghan Markle's wedding, honestly, I saw a little bit of Willie Lynch. I also saw a little bit. It reminded me a little bit of O.J. Simpson. If you remember O.J. Simpson, hated black women. O.J. Simpson had a black wife, I guess, for a while, and then he got famous and stuff, and he did what a lot of guys did back then. He got him a Becky, blonde hair, blue eyed lady, and then next thing you know, O.J. ends up in his little situation. And so after spending a decade being America's favorite white man, OJ suddenly becomes a nigga like the rest of us. Suddenly, America is showing him that no, we really hate your black butt. We were just being nice to you because you could play football. Now that you've actually harmed a white woman, you are public enemy number one. So at that point, OJ is turning to the black community and saying, oh my God, look at what they did to me. This is so racist, y'all. This is so bad. But a lot of black people were looking at him like, yeah, we told you. We told your dumbass from the beginning what this is like. We told you why you should have a black woman next to you so you can deal with this type of nonsense. We told you why being with your own community is actually a source of strength and protection for you. But you wanted to go out here, you thought you were white. I could even say the same thing about Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, a lot of those accusers were not black women. I'm not saying that Bill didn't do anything wrong. I'm not saying Bill doesn't deserve a big chunk of what he got. I believe in evidence and proof. I don't think there was any proof provided. I didn't see police reports or physical evidence, anything like that. And I personally believe there should be proof before you send an old man to die in prison. But if you recall, before Cosby went down, Cosby was sort of in the black community, but a lot of his experiences with women were not black women. So what does that have to do with Meghan Markle? Well, when you look at Meghan Markle, it's kind of interesting. It's like on one hand you were celebrating 2 years ago when it was almost like she was being taken away to fairyland, like she was being taken away to this wonderful place, this magical place where she'd become a princess and a duchess, and there were these women just, I mean, I'm talking about like almost like getting like sexually aroused and excited and like all emotional about how happy they were for her. Oh my God, the wedding was so beautiful. Oh, look. Oh, and look at the celebrities that are here. Oh my God, there's Oprah. There's so and so. Oh, she's the Duchess of Love. Yeah, and now what you get? Look at what you got. Now she's out here talking about, oh, they were so racist. They said that they didn't want my son to have dark skin. Well, I don't even know what that conversation was, but it was really ironic because a lot of people are not surprised. People are like, yeah, you marry a racist, you're gonna get racist behavior. You're signing up to be like, you thought it was an upgrade to join this family. It was not an upgrade. It was a downgrade. It was only an upgrade in terms of money. Yeah, sure. I mean, they spent hundreds of years stealing everybody else's stuff. Of course, they're gonna have a couple of dollars in their pocket, but take the money away. And what do you have? You just have a bunch of mediocre ass white people. Why would you walk away from black excellence to be next to mediocrity? Like seriously, I'm not dissing people that are in interracial relationships. I mean, your love is your love. Your relationship is your relationship. I'm not judging any of that. I'm just saying that I don't have a lot of patience when I hear about a black person who walks away from the black community and then comes back saying, "Oh, they were so racist to me. It was so bad." And I'm like, yeah, that's why I didn't go with your dumbass, because I already know what happens over there. Same thing happens when you have black people that get opportunities to start businesses in their own communities with their own people, but they're like, no, 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 I'm gonna go work for Google. I'm a senior manager at Google. I'd rather do that because I won an award. Google gave me an award and a high salary and blah blah blah. And then next thing you know, you're coming back complaining about how racist they are. And that's what happens when you sign up for white supremacy. When you sign up to participate in white supremacist institutions, then you're going to have to face white supremacist behavior. You're walking out of your house and walking into their house. If I leave my house and I leave my family and I leave my woman and go down to the white guy's house down the block, then at that point, I'm subject to his rules, his ways of behavior, his habits, and whatever he wants to do to me, he can do to me because I've walked away from what I own to walk toward what he owns. So the royal family, you know, I just saw this interview and I just thought it was, honestly, I thought it was actually kind of sad and funny. Um, None of it surprised me. Y'all know you know they probably killed Diana. I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers that. Diana, she seemed like a nice lady. I don't know much about her, but I remember Princess Diana's out here just killing it, doing amazing things. Next thing you know, she's just dead. Right? I guess the royal family gets down like that. Right? You don't build up billions by being passive. You can't become one of the most powerful families on earth by just sort of letting things slide, right? You handling business. MI6. If you ever did, anybody remember last year? Give me a yes or no. Let me know if you can hear me. Tell me if you can hear me. I want to make sure you guys can hear me because my alarm went off just now. Um, MI6, which is kind of like the CIA of London. Well, I don't know if y'all know this, but the CIA kind of learned a lot of their dirtiest tactics, their COINTELPRO, all that stuff. They learned that from MI6. So in England, they got a dirty side. Like, sure, they got those, and I love my friends in Black London. I mean, I go to Black London whenever I hold an event, it sells out because I just love London. They got some of the coolest, most amazing Black people I've ever seen. Some of the wokest Black folks ever. But let me just tell you, don't sleep on England and the degree of treachery that they will engage in to protect their interests. Um, I remember, I don't know if anybody remembers this. If you've been following me for a while, you might remember this. I went to London to do an event and I got detained at the airport. And I don't know why they detained me, but they decided they wanted to just keep me there. And they took me into a room. They took away my cell phone and would not let me call my family or anybody. So people were wondering where I was. Nobody could get in touch with me, and they held me in that room for 10 hours. For 10 hours, because they were trying to figure out why I was there and what I was doing. Louis Farrakhan, from what I understand, Farrakhan can't even go back to London. Like they don't play. They're just real interesting in that particular area. So when Megan says she fears for her life, I don't doubt that. If Megan says that she was naive about what she was walking into, I don't doubt that. And who knows, maybe speaking to some of the woker, more woke Black people in London or around the world could have briefed her on the situation that she was walking into. So I see a person who I guess she's the victim, right? Like, that's what it is. Like, oh, they made me suicidal, stuff like that. I don't understand that kind of victim talk, to be honest with you. I kind of feel like if you're suicidal, then if you kill yourself, like, that's usually going to be your decision. But then again, though, they probably would fake a suicide. Who knows? Who knows what they would do? I don't know. But like, oh, they made me suicidal. I have a hard time. I don't buy that language. Like, if I choose to be suicidal, I'm being suicidal. I can't say Alicia made me suicidal and it's her fault. So she's the predator because I felt this way because Alicia was being mean to me. Like, I can't do that. As a man, I'm not allowed to take that sort of victim role. Also, the whole conversation about the son having dark skin, I'd like to hear that conversation. I'm not going to say that it didn't happen. I'm not going to say that there wasn't some ill intent, but I think that sometimes we want to just sort of scream racism over every little thing, like any reference to Blackness or skin colors. Like, oh, well, they said something. They said that my skin was dark, so that means that they hate Black people and they're terrible. I think that sort of analysis actually shows a lack of understanding of how white supremacy works. White supremacy is the kind of thing that isn't usually presenting itself in a first grader sort of way. It's not presented as somebody just disliking you because you have Black skin. White supremacy is a system that allows white people and their values to actually have more influence and power than you and your values. So that means that a person can be a beneficiary of a white supremacist system even if they're Black. There are Black people in America that benefit from white supremacy. If you're Black, I don't care, you could be Black, you could be Wesley Snipes Black. If you are Black and you commit yourself to a white supremacist system, like you become a cop and you say, I'm down for Blue Lives Matter no matter what. Or whatever it is, or you become a politician and you push stupid policies or whatever that are going to be harmful to Black people, then white supremacy will reward you. White supremacy will take care of you. White supremacy doesn't hate you because you have Black skin. White supremacy punishes you when you're not down for the agenda. Like, that's it. And in fact, if you're black and you're down for the white supremacist agenda, white supremacy will reward you better than it will reward a white person, because now you're a double agent. You're part of the COINTELPRO plan. They can plant you in any situation around other black people and ensure that you are going to pursue their agenda, and you're going to get more things done more effectively than you could if you were white. If a white Klansman comes through a black neighborhood and says, "We want to kill all the black people, we want to eliminate black people," ain't nobody going to respond to that. Nobody's going to agree to that, right? That would be crazy, right? But if your favorite rapper shows up talking about, "Look at how many Negroes I shot today," it's like you're gonna be dancing to that. You're gonna cheer for that, right? So he's gonna get paid extra money, the black bonus. He's gonna get paid extra to pass the message, because he can get the message into places that you can't. No different from the rats. The way they would kill the rats and the mice is they would put the poison out, and they would give the whatever the rat was, like the head of the household, who would go out and actually get food for the family. They would put the poison out, and the head of the household would go get the poison, and he would bring it in and feed it to the kids. And that's how they would kill the whole family of rats. Right. So you have your people that go out here and become big shots and famous and everything else, and they just come back and they feed you poison and you eat it because you're getting your poison from a trusted source. So when I'm looking at racism and looking for racism and white supremacy, the comment about the black skin wasn't what I didn't need to hear something like that to become convinced that the royal family is a walking manifestation of extremist white supremacy. They could have had any, they could have said Black Lives Matter, or we love black people, or we I hang out with LeBron James. Like, they could have done any of that, and I still would have said, yeah, that's white supremacy, because the white supremacy from the royal family comes from the fact that this family, through ill-gotten means, I mean, through just some of the most debaucherous behavior in history, has acquired massive amounts of wealth from black people by going around and killing black people all around the world, by taking their territory, conquering land, establishing a whole system that somehow, for whatever reason, puts this family above everybody else. Like, their lives are more important than your life. And I don't understand why. Like, I don't understand this concept of a royal family anyway. It doesn't make any sense to me. But then again, though, we do. There's something about human beings where we become fascinated about people who live this fantasy life that we would like to live. And I don't know what that is. I'm not a psychologist, but I personally say that that's also a reflection that could be a low self-esteem issue, where you're thinking that because I can't live a better life, I'm going to just sort of take in the endorphins I receive from watching this other person live a life that I think is better than mine. But when you talk about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, I want to make this point 100% clear. Marrying that redheaded white boy across the sea was not an upgrade. There's nothing, seriously. I mean, ladies, put that old put that little ginger white boy next to the sexiest black men that you can think of. I'm talking about, dark, tall, dark, handsome, strong, got a nice little beard, nice little suit on him, looking real good, maybe intellectual, right, ambitious. Put Prince Harry next to even an average black man, and tell me who wins that contest. Who wins that competition? Who's the more quality choice? So, and I tell you what, I'll tell you this too. I think that there's also this thing, and I think women feel it as well. There's like a type of insult that black men feel when we're sitting here thinking, wait a minute, you're telling me they're going and marrying into this white supremacist family is an upgrade over being next to me. Why? Well, because they have a couple extra dollars in their pocket and a little bit of power that they obtained in a horribly illegal way. Like, there's no, you're not better than me. And I think that that's what I think a lot of black men were feeling, that they were like, wait a minute, why are you sitting around here fantasizing about this lady's life? Like, somehow she somehow is because she's doing this real life rendition of the Whitney Houston movie The Bodyguard. Like this is some sort of fantasy of yours. Like, what is this? Right. And I remember I knew a girl in college like that. It was a black lady who grew up in the hood. Her daddy wasn't around. She saw some bad examples of black men. She saw some black men that kind of let her down. And I remember that her favorite movie was The Bodyguard. And she also had another favorite movie. It was a Steve Martin movie called Father of the Bride. And if you've ever seen Father of the Bride's like this little fantasy fairy tale, and they play that like hokey, that hokey like happy music, like do 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 do, right? And it's all about preparing for a big wedding. That's what the whole Father of the Bride thing is all about. And it's like white people like doing white people stuff and having this like really beautiful fairy tale wedding. And that was like one of her favorite movies, that and The Bodyguard. And lo and behold, years later, when I followed up to find out what she was up to, she had married a white guy and had, some little mixed interracial kids. And I look back on that and I realized that a lot of what drove her decision making, her preference for white guys over black men, is that when she saw black men, I think she saw her trauma. I think she saw poverty. She saw, just dastardly behavior. She saw negativity. And when she saw white people, she saw the purity and happiness and prosperity and success, right? And so ultimately, that self hatred was really really deep. Like she really became a white supremacist in that way. She got to the point where that white guy that could take her away from the black neighborhood and the black experience was somehow like a savior for her, like almost like a living Jesus or something, right? And I feel like a lot of women like that were the ones who got really excited about the Meghan Markle wedding. Like they were they're the same ones who watch Scandal and get really excited that she's dating this white guy who's the president of the United States. And while I certainly understand a woman's attraction to powerful men, I do believe that that's real, and I think men, we have to just accept that, right? So I think that for black men, you have to find your power in your own way. I totally accept and completely understand from a biological standpoint women's attraction to powerful men. I get that. What I do not understand is or I think we should be very conscious about is this desire to be next to massa, like somehow that's some sort of an upgrade. It's not an upgrade. As you can see with Meghan Markle, it's a downgrade. Right now, Meghan Markle's life is a complete mess. Meghan Markle has to look over her shoulder, because the royal family, the MI6 is all over the world. They take your ass out anywhere on the planet. There's no corner of the earth she can go to and not fear for her life. She has no security. She couldn't afford her security. That's why they're making deals with Netflix and Spotify, because they're trying to afford security, probably to protect themselves from these people, the royals, right? So I'm sitting there trying to say to you that sometimes you think you won and you really lost. Sometimes you think you got the prize, when really you got the booby prize. Sometimes you think you had a step up when really you took about 5 steps down. And so I don't even hate on Meghan Markle or anything like that. I don't care about Prince Harry at all. I have nothing to say about this guy, but I'm thinking about you and us, and just this whole debacle of us kind of sort of thinking that this was all a big deal when it was, when actually right now them complaining to Oprah proves that it was a terrible mistake. It doesn't mean that her life would have been perfect if she married a black man, but marrying this rich white guy from across the sea obviously didn't make her life any better. The other thought I had too on this is, remember I was telling you guys about how, as black men, I think we have to accept this idea that women do like men who are who show strength, men who have power, wealth, things like that. I became a much more handsome man when I actually gained power, right? Like just I don't know, suddenly the women that might have looked past me suddenly were noticing me, and all my jokes suddenly became funny, and I became the most interesting person in the world. And I just thought that was really fascinating, right? But now I'm taken, so that's not even, that doesn't even matter anymore. But the thing about that is that I think for black men, what you got to understand, instead of complaining about that, right? Instead of being mad that women like men that have a little power and a little money, I think obviously for women, you got to be a little broader than that. Like you can't just look at how much money he has. There are a lot of terrible people who have a lot of money in the bank, but those signs of strength, which can show itself in terms of income, it can show itself in terms of just power, various forms of power, political power, whatever. It can show itself in the form of physical strength. It can show itself in the form of psychological strength, intelligence. Even being funny is a side of intelligence. That's why women like men who are funny. I think also for black men, you got to realize that if you want to really compete and really earn that respect from black women, you got to find your own power base, right? So you've already got a lot of it in certain areas, right? Like we already, if you look at sports, a lot of our athletes are the most powerful athletes out here. If you look at us in terms of intellect, a lot of smart brothers out here. Unfortunately, there are a lot of brothers out here that have learned from dumbass rappers that ignorance is what they want to do, and I'm not a fan of that. I believe in intelligence. I think that's how you survive, is to be intelligent. But also, remember this too: when you talk about economic power, you won't achieve your truest form of economic power by running up behind a white man trying to beg him for a job. All you're going to be is his little brother. All you're going to be is his sidekick. All you're going to be is his little footstool. And a woman is not going to be attracted to a woman with options is not going to be attracted to a man who is another man's footstool. That's just a reality. You know, um, I can tell you, in my own life, I'm marrying a woman who has a PhD. She's a full professor of social work. That means that I have to, she's smart. She could marry a dumbass man. So I'm already intellectual enough, right, to kind of match that. But then also, she got opportunities working with white folks that I would never get as a black man. And it really took awareness for me to realize that, right? That I can't do what she does and get the same opportunities that she's going to get. I can't walk in the same halls that she's walking and be treated the same way she's going to be treated, because she is an attractive black woman and I am a black man who is ambitious, radically black, smarter than 99.9% of all the white people I've ever met. So I am a threat. So in order for me to achieve the power that I wanted to have, I had to get out of his system. I had to look into things like entrepreneurship and wealth building and investing and owning assets and things like that. And that was my power base. My power base, probably it would have been very difficult for me to achieve a power base in the same way that she did. I hope that this makes sense. What I'm saying to you is that as black men, you got to understand that the quickest way that they work to enslave you from birth is by convincing you that you're supposed to spend your whole life asking white men to give you opportunities. Like I'm not saying that you can't go work for corporations and do all these other things. I'm just telling you that when it doesn't work out, it's not working out for a reason. It's not that you just got unlucky. It's not working out for a reason because it really wasn't designed to work out that well for you. It wasn't designed to work out for the majority of you. But so for every black man who goes into corporate America and rises up the ladder and gets an opportunity at the highest levels, there's 1,000 other guys who try to do the same damn thing and the shit didn't work out. So I'm telling you, at the end of the day, when you talk about black men and when we see, women like Meghan Markle or whatever, fantasizing about being next to some rich white boy or whatever the case may be, it happens all the time, right? If you're trying to compete with that, you really got to compete with that. And you got to compete using your strength. Your strength is in your community. Your strength is in your innovation. Your strength is in your ability to work together with other brothers to build things, right? Your strength is coming back to your people and building something that is yours, right? Like being the originator of something as opposed to being an imitator, right? As opposed to simply thinking that you can somehow fit into a white supremacist institution and get the same opportunities as a white person. It ain't gonna happen. It doesn't happen. Run away from all that stuff. Go find your power base. My power base with Alicia and I are both scholars. We both got real PhDs from really difficult institutions and really went through hell in order to get there. But she achieved her power base through the system. I achieved my power base by leaving the damn system. When I ran into that racism at Syracuse and it was very scary, it was very difficult, I left that system and built something on my own, which allows me to circle back and meet that black woman at the top instead of me trying to go through the same pathway she's going and ending up feeling like a failure. Don't let them make you feel like a failure. If they won't let you through, then you got to go over, around, underneath, be creative. That's the point I want to make on this. And I know this is a little bit off from the Meghan Markle Prince Harry conversation, but who cares about those two people? I don't care. Whatever. Like stop complaining. Like whatever. I'm doing interviews with Oprah because my life is so bad. Well, you chose that life. I mean, give me a break. But in terms of like those of you that are listening, I think that when you're talking about fortifying your community and making your men better, you gotta figure out what your plan B is going to be, because I don't think white people designed this system to give you that much power. I know they didn't. So why are you surprised when they leave you powerless? Why are you surprised? Why does any of this surprise you? It only surprises you because somebody fed you a lie. Somebody fed you a fantasy that somehow the world is fair and that people are going to love you and that people are going to hook you up and take care of you. And none of that is true. So anyway, I got to go. I hope you guys have a nice day. And thank you for listening. And please hit the thumbs up button, share button, subscribe button on your way out. And you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins, or you can text the word Boyce to 31996. And I'll notify you when I go live every now and then. And I'm out. So have a good day. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.